Hi, Ironbound Jim. I'm Stan Rockwell. That's Leo looking in the camera. And he's behind me on the sofa this go around, taking a nap. And I'm here for Tai Chi and Qigong. Let's some warm up we traditionally did, especially in the live class. I don't think we've done it too much recently, but let's start off with that one. You get your posture, your balance, and your breathing, so you have that invisible line around the outsides of your feet, and everything inside that rectangle is your foundation. Have your feet as parallel as you can if you have issues with knees, hips, ankles, back, anything that causes you problems. You should be able to smile when you do this, so if anything is causing you stress, that's not our purpose here. Purpose here is to engage the relaxation response, so you back off until you can smile. So we want to focus on the principles of posture, balance, and breathing. You want to have yourself as firmly connected to the floor as you can. You can use visualizations of rooting from the ball of the foot at the base of the big toe, base of the little toe, center of the heel, going straight down into the earth. You have those bubbling well acupressure points, the Yong Chin or K1 acupressure point. You can visualize energetic connection going into the earth. You want to have your arches up so that your knees are pointed in the same direction as your toes, and everything we do, knees and toes are going to be pointed in the same direction. Have an invisible line attached to the ba way, or crown of your head, crown chakra, pulling you straight up. And as it does, it stretches you upwards, makes you taller. Gets the top of your hips parallel to the floor, your tailbone drops down a little bit, your hips move back a little bit, flattens out your stomach and your lower back. But again, just relax into whatever feels most comfortable for you. Tops of your shoulders relax down a center line. Imaginary line across your eyes and ears is parallel to the floor. Back of your head is pulled upwards. Your chin tucks in a little bit. Your head may move back so it's nice and balanced on your shoulders. If you were to drop a line from that byway, you can visualize it as a plumb bob, like a surveyor might use, or a pendulum from a grandfather clock. It's going to go right straight down through the center of your body, and the end of it goes through the perineum, and it hits the floor right in the middle of that foundation, which, depending on how you're built, may be equally distant from each ankle or equally distant from each bubbling well, or somewhere in between the two. Make sure your head's nice and balanced on your shoulders. And once you're in a central neutral position, you can focus on your breathing. And it's an abdominal breath. So you're inhaling through your nose down to your diaphragm, and when you breathe in, there's an expansion all the way around about the belt line. Maybe just above, just below. What you don't want to do is breathe from up here. That's a stress response breath. So one way to engage the relaxation response in a practice you can do all the time is just to focus on breathing from down here. 70% rule applies to breathing. You don't try to inhale the whole room. You just breathe in comfortably. On the exhale, you pull the pelvic floor up to move as much air out as you can. So on the next inhale, more air comes in. We're not all that efficient breathing as we get older. As we breathe more and more from up here, we don't fill our lungs completely. We don't get as much clean air and oxygen in. So just focus on your breath. You touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth. Breathing in through your nose to warm up the air, to moisturize it, to filter it a little bit on the exhale. You can breathe out through your nose, or you can breathe out through your mouth. If you do that, you just sigh when you breathe out. And you let pardon me. You let, as you sigh, you let all the tension inside just breathe out and away from you. You make the exhale last just a little bit longer than the inhale. As you breathe, if you feel any tightness around the top of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your ears, your jaw, your mouth, just breathe into it and let it soften. Remember, another way, if you start to feel stressed, you can focus on your breathing, but you can also focus on relaxing all the muscles in your face, which has a calming influence. So that's where we express our emotions and engage with others in emotional regulation. So just calm all the muscles in your face. If there's any tightness in your neck, your shoulders, your back, just breathe into it, let it soften. Down your arms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers. Just breathe into it and let it soften. Your chest, your stomach, your back. If there's any tightness anywhere, just let it soften. Down into your hips, down your legs, your ankles, your feet, your toes. Any tightness anywhere, just let it soften and relax. Just let your arms float up with your palms facing till they get about shoulder high. Turn your hands towards your face. As you press in, you drop the elbows, and it's like you're pressing your head back just a bit. Feel some movement in the back of your neck. You turn your hands palms out, you press out. Remember that principle of song. It's all the joints are expanding outwards, so your arms are getting longer, but you're keeping some bend in your elbow. As your hands drop down, you tuck your chin just a little bit. You keep that plumb bob behind your toes, so you're not leaning forward. You're just tucking your chin a bit. Again, to feel some stretch in your neck. Inhale on the way up. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Back to the center. Arms come up. This time one hand goes down to the side, other arm folds over so your palm lines up with your forehead, keeping those 2 points connected, turning just your head and moving your arm. You turn 70% of your range of motion to that side, again to feel some lateral motion in your neck as you come back to the center. Lower hand comes up, and it's an exhale and an inhale. Let your arms come back down by your sides. Another one for your neck. You turn your head to one side. You drop your chin across the bottom. You just let it roll. You don't press it down. You come back up to that center line. Straight across. It's an exhale and an inhale. And we just reverse. To the center. First one for the shoulders or forward shoulder rolls. If you have issues with your rotator cuffs, just turn your arms so your palms are facing behind you and you can make the circles with your elbows and move your shoulders very gently. Remember, you just stay in your comfort zone. If you've had any shoulder surgeries or shoulder replacement even, stay within whatever your physician, your surgeon, your physical therapist tell you to do. And we'll just roll forward, remembering to breathe to your abdomen. And reverse. Next one is a lot like sinking your chi. Arms come up and then they press down. It's an inhale and an exhale. Bring your arms up. Fingertips point straight up. If you can, you bring your palms and your forearms together, opening up the upper back and shoulders. You separate, opening the upper chest and also moving the shoulders. It's an exhale and an inhale. Bring your arms back out to shoulder width. For the elbows, you just stretch your arms forward. Remember that principle song, everything stretches out, but you keep some softness in your elbow, you don't lock it. Hands come back towards your shoulders as you inhale, but you don't fully compress either. Softness in the elbows. Exhale out. Fingers are pointed straight up for your wrists. Tilt the hands towards and away from you. And then towards and away from each other. Circles in one direction. Circles in the other direction. Bring your hands in and clasp your fingers together. And again, you make circles one way and the other way. Even that, you may find it easier going in one direction than the other. Then hold the ball in front, and if you have, which I don't here, but if you have a ball about the size of a volleyball maybe, you can hold that, and then you keep your Laogang points lined up, turning the ball around. Again, try and get some flexibility in the wrists. And if you have, carpal tunnel or something like that, be gentle with it. And then just shake your hands. Bring them about waist high. And then on the inhale, just let all the joints and the fingers and hands and wrists expand outwards. On the exhale, they just relax back. It's an inhale and an exhale. Keep going at your own pace. Flex your fingers a little bit. And then hold the ball. Either hand on top, it doesn't matter. For your back, also massages internal organs as you stretch. Lower hand rotates out, presses up, upper hand presses down. A little bit of a twist to that corner on the side of the upper hand. It's an exhale and an inhale. To the center, holding the ball. Got this hand on top, so I'm going to rotate until the hand lines up with this hip, but I'm not going to move from the hips down. Everything from the hips down stays nice and still. So you turn, keeping your palms facing, turn the hands around, back to the other side. Just synchronize your breathing so you're inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. And the next couple are for your hips. Hands go to one side like you're pressing into a wall. Shift all your weight into that foot. So now this foot is my foundation. That invisible line's around the outside of that foot. Empty foot reaches out, touches, comes back to center. Other side. It's an exhale and an inhale. Lower right corner of the screen, that's Leo's ear that popped up. Almost looked like a little shark fin coming up out of the water. Okay. Hip forward and back, shift your weight into one foot. Arms go back a little bit. Body stays perpendicular over this foot. This foot comes out, heel touches. If you need to rebalance, you touch your forefoot as your arms come back to center. Arms go forward, foot goes straight back, forefoot touches. I always think of a clock with a pendulum swinging on the bottom and the arms being the counterweight, so that way the body of the clock doesn't move. Same thing other side. If you're pretty comfortable with your balance, you don't even have to touch your foot down. You really can let it swing like a pendulum, but keep it more or less in a straight line. When you swing it out to the side, it can throw your balance off. Back to the center, toes pointing towards the corners, a little space between your heels, fist stitch your hips. Shift your weight into one side. The weighted side, the arm is going to punch. Unweighted side, foot's going to come out, forefoot touches down, comes back into that 45-degree feet, up and back. It's an exhale and an inhale, and again, you don't have to touch your foot down. You can use it as a balance exercise if you want. And then the second one for your knees, you shift your weight. It starts off the same way. You step up into a forward bow stance. And remember, toes in the front are pointed straight ahead, toe in the back is at a 45-degree foot. You shift your weight, you get that nice stretch. And back. It's an exhale and an inhale. Shift your weight over to heel and toe, or your ankle. Same thing on the other side. And then lateral motion, it's outside the foot, inside the foot, touch as close to the same spot as you can. Same thing on the other side. Shift your weight over, first circles in one direction, being very kind to your ankle, knee, and hip. And in the other direction. Same thing other side. And the other way. Back to the center. Do pouring, you're just shifting your weight from one side to the other, visualizing that warm, salty water coming up from the earth into that bubbling well, cleaning every cell as it comes up, sweeps up from this side, down through this side, still cleaning, goes out with the impurities into the earth. and then clean water comes up from the other side. Or if you want to do it with a healing light, you can do it that way too, whatever works for you. But do pay attention to how the bottoms of your feet feel. Back to the center, you just start to swing one side to the other. And all your weight's in one foot, the heel of the empty foot just naturally comes up off the ground. It's like your hands are tether balls attached directly to your spine, so your shoulders kind of disappear. Just very loose. Remember to breathe to your abdomen, and you can visualize yourself wherever you feel safe, calm, and secure with whomever. It can be your dog that you feel very safe, calm, and secure with. Doesn't even have to be a real place or someone or something real. Just whatever works for you. And then you bring your fingertips, drumming or tapping on the acupressure point just at the hollow inside the shoulder. Lower arm is tapping just inside the hip on the buttock. And then in the front at the base of the rib cage. And then inguinal crease or qua. And then lower down at the end. Back to the swing. And just come back to center, holding a really big ball. Upper hand keeps your head relatively still. Lower hand fingers are pointed towards my right, your left. Take the hip out a little bit again to get some stretch in your lower back. Then you come down. Shift your weight from one side to the other again, just like you're pouring. This time when all your weight gets into one foot, heel on the other foot naturally comes up, just let that foot float up. Same thing other side. And then your knee floats up. Remember, if you want, you can practice doing a golden rooster, standing on one foot. In sun style, it's done this way. Sun is another family of Taiji. There's Chen, Yang, Wu, Wu Hao, Sun, and then there's a couple of others. Those are the 5 major ones. And there's many, many variations within each of those. Heel comes up this time. So if you say want to learn 24 form and you use Google or Bing to find it, or you buy videos, you'll find some variations in there. And you really find variations if you do long forms like 105 or 108 form. Some people get very upset with that. They want it done a specific way, but Remember, one of the principles is softness overcomes hardness, flexibility overcomes rigidity. What you're trying to do is learn the principles and move within those principles like you're playing jazz. So it doesn't have to look exactly like everybody else, since nobody's built like anybody else, and you're not built the same way you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even sometimes last week. Especially if there's an injury or something. It's going to look different, and that's fine. You do pay attention to how you're balanced and how you're breathing. And if you're moving in a slow, kind of graceful way, I've had more than one teacher say if it looks pretty, you're doing it in a skillful way. Increasing your skill is what you're working on. And with that, you do deliberate practice. It's not just, it's paying attention to how you're moving, which also calms your mind down a little bit. Let's do 8 form first. I'll face away this time since I've got the floor this week. It's funny, when she was asleep on the floor last week, she didn't make a sound. Now she's snoring up a storm, but I don't think you can hear. So you're in that Wuji position. Everything's balanced. And begin. Shift your weight right, step left, palms back, arms lift up and down. Repulse the monkey once, twice, brush knee push, left, right. Part the wild horse's mane to the left, to the right. Wave hands like clouds. 1, 2. Go back. 1, 2. 45-degree foot on the left, so you can do golden rooster, stands on left leg. Golden rooster stands on right leg. Kick with the right heel. Kick with the left heel, feet come down parallel, shift your weight over. T-step, grasp the bird's tail, ward off. Roll back. Press. Push. Shift your weight back, arms go out a little bit to help with balance as you turn on that right heel. Left hand takes on the left foot. You're holding the ball with the right hand on top. So you can grasp the bird's tail to the left into ward off. Roll back. Press. Push. Weight goes back right, so you can adjust the left foot, adjust the right foot. Drop down, right hand goes underneath left. As the hands cross like this, right foot comes back down so they're parallel. Arms come up so the palms are facing towards those hollows just inside the shoulders that we were tapping a moment ago. Acupressure points for the lung meridian. Palms go down, hands cross. As they come back to your side, shift your weight right, left foot comes in. If you want, you can acknowledge. Non-form is similar. And remember, we said typically you go to your left. But we're going to go straight ahead so you can see the hands. Let's do some of the footwork first. Shift your weight out, step with your left foot. Don't worry about it. Left or right. Because you're just doing this for yourself. When all your weight goes into this foot, you adjust that foot to 45 degrees. Shift your weight over for a T-step. Step up, shift into a forward bow stance, knees behind the toes. Feet like you're on railroad tracks. Yeah, let's do a couple more of those. Shift your weight back. Front foot comes in and back. Adjust your front foot. Remember, if you have issues with your hips and you have to step straight back, you adjust on your forefoot. If you can, you step out and back and adjust on your heel. And the side-to-side moving is turning on that center axis. Step about the width of your foot, bringing your foot completely off the ground. And remember, we talked about two kinds of shoulder width. There's outsides of the foot line up with the outsides of the shoulder, insides of the foot line up with the outsides of the shoulder. And when you're doing wave hands like clouds, which you don't really do in 9 form, but we'll add it in just because it's a nice movement. You don't want to stomp your feet, you don't want to drag your feet, you pretend like you're walking on rice paper, not making a sound, and that's true for the forward and back motion. There is one step where you do a little half step up, and when you shift your weight back, toe comes up like that. It's a movement called hamstrung salute, so it comes after the last brush knee push. Shift your weight up. Palms are down. When you shift your weight back, the back heel comes down. Hands turn around to the side as they come back to the center. Heel in the front is up. Hand drops down underneath. Toe goes up. Fingers go up. Hands come up. Push around to the side. And if you ever PIPA, PIPA is what the instrument is called in China. And if you Google pipa, you'll see it looks kind of like a mandolin, and that's how they hold it. What it's doing is an arm lock, is what it is. And you'll see that done in different ways too. This is how the teachers I've had in traditional Yang style taught it. The Beijing style is a little different. Honestly, when I first learned this, I learned 3 different ways, and this is about the only one I remember anymore because it makes more sense in the martial part, but it also activates acupressure points in your wrist pretty well. Another movement where the foot works a little different is white crane spreads wings, where it comes at the end of part the wild horse's mane. And remember, part the wild horse's mane, there's not a whole lot of bend in your elbow versus ward off. So at the end of part the wild horse's mane, the hand and back scoops up that foot, brings it up half a step so you're holding a ball. Shift your weight back, the heel and back comes down, hands come across, fingers may even brush your forearm, and this time the toe is down in front. Upper hand is traditional is palm out, and Beijing style is palm towards your head. Either way is fine. If you use the great courses, which you can get for free through Canopy, through Williamsburg Regional Library, on your you can get it through the internet. Ross teaches in the 24 form like this, and I can't remember in the 40 form if he does it like this or like this, but you'll see it in 40 like that and 24 like that. What it is a shoulder bump and a split. There's no weight in the front foot, so you can block if you need to, you can kick if you need to. And it's taught a couple of ways of how you have the weight in the front too. Sometimes they'll teach it with the weight right in the middle of the foot. My teachers taught me to put the weight on the outside, so you open the hips, you open the quad, because this is bringing energy up from the earth through the perineum. So you know most of these moves from the 8 form. It's just doing them a little differently, and we're going to do it going straight ahead to make it a little easier. And again, I'm not going to do it backwards because I know I'll screw it up. But I don't practice it backwards, honestly. Shift your weight. Step. Open the door. Part the wild horse's mane. Remember, it's a grab. and then a trip and a strike. Hand in the front goes palm down, almost palm out, takes that front foot out to 45 degrees. Backhand scoops up the back foot. Hands and feet all foot move together. You do this 3 times so you're back where you started, and I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see the feet. Right hand brings up that foot. Shift your weight back. White crane spreads wings. Arm folds around so your palm lines up with your forehead. Arm drops down, fingertips face towards the floor. Left arm folds in, right arm comes up. Fingers of the left hand point towards the forearm of the right foot. You can either just plant that left foot now. If you need to rebalance, bring it in for a T-step. Then that hand takes the foot around. Palm goes past your head, and you remember settling your wrist. Palm is down as it comes past your head. It goes palm out. Front hand pushes that foot down, then it pops up. Goes palm up as it does. It goes out and takes that front foot out to 45 degrees. Shift your weight up into a T-step. Another brush knee. One more. That little half step, hands come up. It's just playing the lute or playing the peepaw. Then we do repulse monkey. It's that reverse walking we do. And we do the arm work, both in A form and in the Tai Chi Qigong we did last week, I think it was. We'll come into grasp the bird's tail, up into ward off, roll back, press, push, and we don't have to do a 180 when we do it straight ahead. We just come back to center, just the foot on the other side, go into ward off, roll back, press, push, come back. Let's do wave hands first 3 times going one way. So we're getting some extra moves. It's more than 9 movements. At this rate we'll have almost all of 24 form learned, and then we can do that and it won't be so hard. Come in, we'll do golden rooster on one side, golden rooster on the other side, kick, kick, come down, right goes underneath left, palms facing towards your shoulders, hands down, back to the center. That was fun. I hadn't done it that way. You can do variations. You can make up forms of your own. You just learn the movements and see how they flow into each other. Okay, up on your toes as you inhale. Exhale, let everything out. Inhale, and just soften and relax. Exhale. One more. Loosen up your legs a little bit. Balance everything out. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe, healthy, and well. Remember to practice, and as best you can, you practice deliberate practice where you're paying attention, not just going through the motions, but you still have fun with it. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.